Now that summer is upon us and the weather is a lot nicer, I wanted to talk about how to find the best sandals for summer. Why is it important to have a good sandal for summer? Well, when you're wearing shoes during the colder months, they have a lot more support to it. So the top part of the shoe, that holds the foot in a lot better. And a lot of times the heel will also give you a lot more support. So when we're transitioning from these kinds of shoes into sandals, the body isn't used to it. It's almost a shock to your legs and your feet, and sometimes they just can't keep up with the lack of support that your other shoes had. So putting your foot into a more supportive sandal, it will give your feet a little bit more of a rest and they won't have to work as hard, meaning the pain may not develop as much during summer. A lot of people will develop pain in the summer because they are walking a little bit more as well. So walking more outside, more active, plus the change of shoes, that can put a lot of stress on your body. So if you're somebody who always develops pain in the summer, definitely consider these tips on these sandals. Find something nice and supportive, and that should hopefully help you get through the summer a little bit better. First, let's talk about support in sandals, inside the sandal. So that is arch support under your feet. There are a lot of sandals that have built-in arch support and you don't have to worry about changing out orthotics. It just has that built-in support. Birkenstock, they are a very popular brand. They're not the only one, but they are a very popular one. So they have built-in support on the inside here. So this isn't a Birkenstock, but it's very similar. So there's support through here. If you can this one's hard to see, but if you look on the inside of the sandal, you should see that there's a little bit of bump on the inside of the arch. So look for something like that. That will give you a bit more support. Some of these sandals even come with a waterproof or water resistant option you can wear around the pool versus these ones that have cork in them. A lot of times you don't want to get them wet because that can damage the shoe. So you can have something that's a little bit more waterproof as well. But something like these, a lot of times they do have support in them as well if you find the right brand. Moving on to the straps of the sandal. Now, in general, more straps you have, the more adjustability and maybe the more support you will have. Now, not everybody will like tons of straps, but we'll start with the most straps and go from there. So this one has 4 straps in total. So 3 at the front and 1 at the back. Now, with the 3 straps at the front, this will allow you to adjust certain areas based on where there's certain pain or prominences, like a bunion, for example. So if your bunion's hitting right in that spot, you can leave this strap looser and tighten all the other ones, and that will give you still a snug fit, but not too tight on that bunion. What this also does is when there's more adjustability in these areas, then there's less movement for your foot. So I also want to talk specifically about the back strap. So some people don't like a back strap. You can just slide it in and out. This is definitely easier way. It's very convenient, but it might not be as good for your feet, especially if you're walking for longer distances. So something with a back strap here, then your foot doesn't have to grip as much. So in a sandal that has an open back, sometimes people will grip their toes as they're walking to try and prevent their foot from sliding out of the back. So a back strap helps to prevent that. So if you have problems with balance or you're walking a lot, definitely consider a back strap. Another time where I really like something like this is if you're going to be doing activities, you're going to be on your feet for a long period of time. Let's say you're out and about and you're going to be walking a lot, then the back strap is really nice. So I prefer to have at least one sandal with a back strap, and then you can use that for days when you're going to be on your feet a little bit more. Something in a sandal that might help if you don't want a back strap but gives you a little bit more at the back is finding a shoe with a little bit of a heel cup. So see how it dips in slightly, so that might hold your foot a little bit. Not too much, but it'll be better than something that's completely flat at the back. So that could be another option that you could consider. For those who need a little extra support around the heel, there is that back strap, but there's also some sandals that have a full back here. It's completely closed in. Some of them do have a stronger heel counter, so there's more support through here. Those ones would be a great idea if you really need more support. You have problems with balance, so you need that balance. Something with a completely enclosed in the back would be a great option. One type of sandal I would tell people to avoid are the sandals that only have the one strap and the one strap just at the front here. So there are some sandals that have a bit of a strap that comes up and then you can only adjust it through here. Those ones are okay, but it's the ones that don't have this one at all and it just has this strap at the front. Those ones really don't hold your foot in. So I was talking about how even something like this, you have to grip your toes. Something with just the front part here and no adjustability at the back, your foot will really slide around and your foot will really have to grip. And when you do that, that's putting more pressure on the ball of the foot. That could lead to pain around the ball of the foot as well. If you're somebody who wears orthotics, custom orthotics, or even an over-the-counter and you really like that specific over-the-counter brand, then you can find a sandal that has a removable insert. So sandals like these, you can actually take this part out and replace it with whatever you want, custom insert or your preferred over-the-counter insert, and that will give you a little bit more support as well. Another really helpful feature is finding a sandal with all adjustable straps. So some sandals like these, this one has one adjustable strap at the top, and these two, you can't adjust them. They have extra pieces that will stretch, which helps a little bit, but there are some that don't even have that. You can't even adjust them. So when that happens, if your foot swells or even just in general, it's harder to fit your foot to that sandal. So when you have more adjustability, like these ones, either Velcro or through buckles, then you can adjust it throughout the day, or when you're trying shoes on, you don't have to find the shoe that fits exactly every single time. You can adjust those straps so that it fits your foot a lot better. Thickness of the bottom of the sole can also make a difference. If you have a very thin sole, so that's something through here, if it's very thin, there's less shock absorption and it might not be as stiff, so then your foot can move around a little bit more. So something with a thicker sole like these, or even something like that would be a better option. When I'm talking about thin soles, I'm talking about maybe this thick, just this black part, just that between your foot and the ground. That's pretty thin. Something like these are a lot better. Something else to consider is when you can wear sandals and when you should opt for a running shoe or a walking shoe. And that's if you're going for long walks. A running shoe or a walking shoe would be a lot better. A sandal will not give you as much support. So if you're going to be out and about walking around, a sandal might be okay. But if you're specifically walking for exercise, a walking shoe or running shoe would be a lot better. Or even things like a festival, or if you're around at Canada's Wonderland, a theme park or something like that during the day, that would be a good time to wear your running shoes. It might be a little warmer, but it'll protect your feet, it'll protect your legs. You might not feel as much pain at the end of the day or even the next day. Something else that may not be relevant for everybody is to find shoes that are a little bit more comfortable based on your foot. So let's say you have a bunion. Find something, I talked about that before, where there's multiple straps in the area, or there isn't a strap that goes right over that bunion. Or sometimes you can find sandals like these, where if you look at the front here, that's a sandal. The inside has this area and it's actually a stretchy material. So the bunion can stick out and it won't have any extra pressure in that one spot. If you typically have pain at the ball of the foot, something called a rocker sole might be a good idea. So find a shoe that curves up a little bit more compared to something like that, how it's a lot more flat. So the curve will give you some pressure relief at the ball of the foot. The flat one will not do that for you. Another note for pain at the ball of the foot, if you find something with a higher heel, something like that, now this is in a huge heel, but if you find a higher heel compared to something like that, then a higher heel will put pressure onto the ball of the foot. So if you tend to have pressure there, try and avoid something with a higher heel. Get something that's a little bit lower. For heel pain, you can find something that has a little bit of a deeper cup to it. I talked about that earlier, so it depresses down, versus if something like this, it's a lot flatter. So a heel cup will help to contain that heel a little bit more and might help with your heel pain. So those are a few of the features I wanted to go over today, specifically about sandals. So find something nice and supportive, get some straps on there, and make sure that the shoe is nice and comfortable for your foot specifically. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I would be happy to help.